Cassandra, who was a very hard-working lady. She's supposed to be a very successful businesswoman, with having so many achievements, but due her bad past experience, that compelled her to change way of thinking for lifetime. When she was young child, she was stabbed by head of the gangster, who was a white man, after refusing to pay them what they were asking for. Actually, this wasn't the first time she'd came across such a situation. Many situations had happened, but this time it went beyond the limits. One day, she was brutally hit by the knife of gangster. She was rushed to the hospital in order to get the treatment, because she was completely fainted. She was barely alive. That why having so many bad experience. Cassandra's mind flashed back to her painful childhood. Through her childhood, she experienced a lot of racism from both white young and adults. Seeing herself and her family as the only black in a white town, which made her grow up hating everyone. This was not enough. One day when Cassandra was 10 years of age, a group of white girls attacked her at school, pushing her down the stairs, landing her on the ground with a broken arm. When her arm broke, she was crying in pain, and the next person who saw her was a teacher. She was taken to the hospital for a checkup, and a white doctor came, but he refused to do the operation and walked away from the bed, claiming that he was off duty. She was only assisted by a black doctor. The ignorance of that white doctor has left a negative impact on her mind. Realizing that all white people are same, Cassandra started resentful outlook on all white people for the rest of her life. Well, as time started to pass, Cassandra grew up, but her hate in her heart for the white people deepened. She completely avoided the white people, started considering they are not made to help the black people. Well, with lifelong struggles, she became a very successful businesswoman, built huge empire for herself, but during her success, used her hatred and wealth to exploit the white employees. She has hired them as revenge for the racism she has been enduring since she was a child. Her anger drove her to associate herself with criminal groups and employing white gangs as instruments of getting things done, and then abandoning them. This hatred also contributed nearly to her death, when a white gang she had tried to con attacked her with a knife, in the hospital bleeding and nearly unconscious. The memories of her life flooded her head while voices went on around her. Meanwhile, she fainted. Later, after a day, Cassandra finally woke up on the bed in the hospital. She was so weak and groggy. As soon as she opened the eyes, she just saw a white doctor by her side of her bed. The moment she saw the white men, suddenly past memories flashed again in front of her. Moment of fear and extreme anger grabbed her as memories of past racism. Thought, so this doctor will refuse from treatment also, as the doctor in childhood refused so, though the doctor reassured her she was safe, but yet she was in pain and distrust. Meanwhile, Cassandra's heart was filled with past failures. She directly demanded a black doctor, rejecting treatment for the white doctor. But on other side, it was Dr. Reynolds, who was the white man, really had worked hard in order to save her life. But due to her demand, Dr. Reynolds was hurt. But politely and calmly, he agreed to start the treatment from his desired doctor. As a black doctor arrived, Cassandra felt slightly calmer but remained bitter and angry. her vulnerability stirring deep emotions she hadn't felt since childhood. Cassandra also remained bitter in the hospital. Another day, the black doctor, Dr. Harris, said something to her very softly. He said to her that Reynolds, the white doctor, was awake and doing all he could to save her life. Cassandra didn't believe the doctor. Cassandra told doctor she rejected Dr. Reynolds because of his color. Dr. Harris told her that both of them and Dr. Reynolds became doctors to save lives of human beings irrespective of judging the color of the patients. Cassandra stared at him with full anger but didn't speak a single word. Dr. Harris responded to her in a calm way, telling her that not all men like Dr. Reynolds are bad. Her heart started beating hardly while holding on to her anger. But deep down she felt warmth in her heart, being inspired by the words of the doctor for the first time in years. She felt something other than anger. This soft feeling made a small crack in the wall of hate, which Cassandra had built from very long time. Over the next few days, she couldn't stop thinking about Dr. Reynolds. How on earth it is possible that white man had worked so hard to save her. Slowly, she began to realize that racism wasn't about an entire race, but it's the actions of each individual. When Cassandra finally recovered, she only thought about her past actions and started thinking that what sort of wrong things she had done to both black and white people. Finally, she saw that she has turned into one of them, using her powers to inflict pain on others. Meanwhile, thinking, she decided to go to Dr. Reynolds, who had operated her. Finally, she went to doctor's office and said, "I was wrong," said these words in very polite and soft manner. Furtherly, she added, "Well, meeting him has completely changed her perspective. I was thinking white people just hate us, but you proved me wrong." That made Dr. Reynolds smile and continue. "Healing is not only the recovery of the body. I am glad to notice that you are also healing on the inside." Finally, the day came when she was finally discharged from the hospital. Amazing thing was, she herself felt so lighter deep inside. Her heart was filled with happiness, 'cause she threw away the hate she had inside her for so long. She erased all the past failures she had developed for the white people with the passage of time. With such peaceful and positive mindset, she's starting loving her life again.